So, one thread that came through both classes is the importance of agility. It doesn't matter how fast you can get from one end to the ice to the other. It matters if you can beat a guy to the puck 15 feet from you. So, I took two Hockey Canada courses on the weekend. They're from
Ah,
the instructional stream. There was a morning class on skating, skating one. In the afternoon, there was a developing defenseman one class. In the evening, it was nominally a 3 hour class on teaching skills. All of these, I only did the first two because I thought all three would be too much. This is part of the instructional stream as opposed to the coaching stream. It's very skills oriented, how to teach certain skills. So each class is mostly in the classroom. It's about 2/3 in the classroom. For example, in the morning where they're skating, here's how you teach these skating skills. Then you go on ice, and then there's a demonstration of the things that you learned. The developing defenseman was similar, about 2/3, 1/3. They did individual tactics, but not team tactics, and not strategy, and not systems. So very skill oriented. So oriented to that part of the period. Hockey Canada has a plan. There's 5 or 6 different skill areas that they want to roll out courses in. Level 1 is for 5 to 8 year olds. Level 2 is for maybe 10 to 13, 14 year olds. Level 3 is for 15 and beyond. And most of the people there were coaching like 10 to 13, 14 year olds. So the instructors adjusted the content up. So they were teaching us more advanced skills. Now, for somebody like me, everything was completely overwhelming. Like it was just too much. I could pay attention for about the first hour, and then it's like I can't hold this on in my head. For example, in the skating, they were talking about crossovers. Okay, I understand crossovers because I've been working really hard on them. Can't do them, but I understand them. Backwards crossovers, and they're talking about different kinds of edges. We've talked about mohawk, and a term for this now is called a heel to heel. Makes complete sense that it's a little bit more accurate to call it a heel to heel because it really has nothing to do with mohawks.
I agree because I get so many clients that come to me, teach me the Mohawk, and I know they're just like, I want to make sure they know what the Mohawk really
Yes.
is. And you're like, why don't you show me here off ice what you think a Mohawk
Yes.
is? I get different versions of what they think the
Yeah.
Mohawk
Yeah.
is. Then whatever showing me, I'll help show them how to do whatever
Yeah.
they're showing
Yeah.
me.
They presented it in the classroom is that they would have a slide and they would say, here's a drill where you can teach this. And then they would show a video of kids demonstrating these skills. And they would say, oh, yeah, you should watch this a few times and you'll see the differences of how to do this. What am I seeing? What am I looking at? It turns out there's a coach manual for points of performance, but they didn't give it to us. So I've got to email the organizers and say, can I get this manual? That's how my mind works. It's like, how do I give feedback? This is something that you and I have talked about. It's easy to get a drill off of the internet. Okay, here's the drill. Oh, they're not doing it right. That's not how it's supposed to look like. Okay, how do you shape the behavior so that you get what you want, what it's supposed to look like? I can't tell them. I could get someone to demonstrate it, but that's not the same. I think that's the difference between teaching and coaching. Coaching, you have that close relationship where you go, okay, now move your foot a little bit differently. Put your weight back. You're not using enough of your outside edge. That's what I need to be able to do. Firstly, I didn't get that. And secondly, what they did give me, and maybe if I had more hockey, I'd be able to get there.
Mhm, mhm. You have your skills coach, and then you have your hockey coach, which is really completely different. And there's similarities between the two of them, and there's big differences between the two of them. The hockey coach is bringing the team together to play as one before you go on the ice. And then the skills coach is analyzing individual skills to help each individual become a better team player, starting from the skates and working up as you go through. Shooting, obviously, Yeah, your foundation of your stance and all that for balance. When you look at sports, I don't care what sport you're going to pick, balance is always number one.
Mhm.
Balance is number one. It doesn't matter whether you're playing in a wheelchair or you're playing with one leg or two legs, balance is number one. When you have balance, then you're able to either strike a ball, throw a ball, shoot a puck, body check, whatever
Mhm.
it is. There's three key elements in skating. Balance is number one, your technique, and then obviously your strength and power, how fast you can go. And then just listening to my adults, I said, there's a fourth element. And they're all looking at me, what else could there be? It's called confidence.
Mhm.
The amount of confidence that you have to do that
Mhm.
task. If you're afraid, then your confidence goes down here. If you're like, I'm ready to do this, you see the kids like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. I get all the confidence. All your elements, your top three elements really come in
Mhm.
together to strike forward and to perform at a higher
Mhm.
level. And it's all interesting, how they put it all together. Sounds like a great course you took.
Some people got a lot from it. When
Sure.
we got to the developing defenseman class, I knew that I wouldn't be able to do the on ice skills. By the time we got to the end of the skating, I could do the skills for, I think, maybe about 80% of it, just slowly and badly. But the last 20% is there's no chance. I don't have this. For the developing defenseman, it was like, I can't do these skills at all. So I pulled out my camera and I recorded the on ice portion. I offered it to the other people in the class. So I think that will help me absorb and remember the material better. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. With the defenseman, I would say there's a lot of backward
Yeah.
skating with the
Yeah.
defenseman, a lot of backward skating. I would say that you would take each zone and you divide each zone into what you're trying to do in each zone. So maybe the defensive zone, sure, you have breakouts, but it's a lot of kind of keeping the player to the outside, you're
Hmm.
positioning, you're skating, you're pivoting, you're opening up, your butt positioning, your stick, your
Hmm.
hockey stick positioning. Obviously, where you
Hmm.
focus, are you looking at the puck? Or you're looking at the player and your peripheral vision picking up the puck. In the neutral zone, it's how do we support each other? Meaning defense, defense. Do we do the hinge,
Yeah.
the hinging?
Yes.
Player over here has the puck. I get a hinge back. Always give my defense partner an open passing
Yeah.
lane so they have an escape.
Mhm.
You move into the offensive zone, working with your D partner, sliding left and right. And then if one defense pinches in, the other one comes back and over. It's always that hinging back and forth as you work together. Yeah, it's
Yep.
a lot of skating backwards, forwards. Your best skaters have to be centers, but defense, because defense have to be able to be mobile, pivot, turn, backwards,
Yep.
forwards. That's every skill.
So one thread that came through both classes is the importance of agility. It doesn't matter how fast you can get from one end to the ice to the other. It matters if you can beat a guy to the puck 15 feet from you. Those short bursts
Hmm.
of speed. They were also emphasizing small area games. One of the instructors said you can do an entire season on teaching skills using small area games. Kids love it. It
Mm-hmm.
keeps them motivated. When
Mm-hmm.
they're out on the ice, when they're playing a game, it doesn't look very organized, but somehow they do what they need to do.
Sure. I agree with that instructor. If you really analyze a hockey game, number one, if you divide the rink into six,
Hmm.
so each zone divided in half, so you got two, four,
Hmm.
six, and majority of the game is played in one of those six
Hmm.
little pockets. There are those little mini
Hmm.
games. My one instructor, Brandon, all my instructors are very passionate about hockey, and he's going down to play pro hockey this year in New Haven, Connecticut. He brought up a stat to me. He says, David, what do you think the percentage of the hockey game is played along the boards as to the center of the ice? I never really took any knowledge. I never sat down. Gee, I wonder. Of course, they got analytics on
Hmm.
everything these
Hmm.
days. I believe the number he said was between 80 to 85% of the game is played on the
Hmm.
boards, 5 feet of the
Hmm.
boards. Everything. That's a lot of the
Yep.
game. All right. A lot of the
Yep.
game.
That makes complete sense. What is happening when you're in the middle of the ice? You're going somewhere. So when you're going somewhere, you're going to get there in a hurry. You're not hanging out there just going, "Oh, I have possession. Isn't that great?" You have a goal. You have an objective.
Absolutely. A lot of the times, once the kids get a little bit, they start recognizing that the defense play the middle of the ice, so they need to go to the outside of the ice to get around. That's where the open ice is to skate and penetrate. When you dump the puck in, we don't like to encourage dumping the puck, but you can dump the puck in. It's going to be along the boards. When you shoot it to the goalie, moves it corner, moves along the boards. There's a lot of play in the boards.
What was
We're trying to bring.
what was the
Go ahead.
percentage again? 80% of the game is within 5 p
It,
of the boards.
yeah. So now you're thinking, where do we have to be better at? How do we get the puck out? There isn't a breakout strategy, step one, two, three, and you get out. It's really about supporting the puck
Mhm.
carrier. Where is that puck? Majority on the boards. It's chipping it off the boards, having the center close for support. So it's a give and
Mhm.
go
Mhm.
system as you're breaking out. If it doesn't get out, everyone stops before the blue line, stay
Mhm.
inside. Yeah, there's lots of little things. It's great. It's great for the game and for kids. I really like listening to you talking about the course. I think it sounds like a great course. And it's learning that the game is not as big. Like we don't have to use the whole area of the hockey rink. It's just being better at parts of the hockey
Mhm.
rink. There's so much detail in every sport. And just speaking about hockey, when you come off the ice or any game and a parent comes up to you, we need to focus on A, B, C. And you're like, absolutely. But we were focusing on D, E, F. Did you see those
Mhm.
things? They're like, no, I didn't see those things. I did because I was watching for D and I know about A, B, C. And then we got everything else down to
Yeah.
Z. Like there's just so much to accomplish.
So,
Yep.
I have questions. One of the things they said in the course is that you need an annual development plan. This makes sense to me. You need to have a sense of where you're going. So, what I did last year was that I would see what the kids were doing or not doing in the last game, and then I would choose drills based on gaps. So, or I was
Mhm,
always chasing the gaps, but I didn't really have a plan for where I wanted to be. I
mhm,
didn't have an image in my head of what I thought the player should look like at the end of the year.
mhm. You take any level all the way up to the professional, and they will have a plan, annual plan as well, where they want to get to, what they want to be better at, where they want to close the gaps. I am a big believer of all that. Then you have to throw in that magic word of flexibility because you have to be flexible. Every hockey team is probably going to have areas, probably 3 to 5, that you can continually work on all the
Mhm.
time. So you may have in your head, we want to create more scoring opportunities off the rush, including the defensemen jumping up into the play. But then evaluating your team, you're like, our defenseman can't carry the puck, or maybe they just don't have the hockey IQ just yet to make that work. Maybe your gaps are somewhere else. So you create your overall master plan, and then you start evaluating, call it a month, and you just go, okay, wow, our gaps are really here and here. This is where we need to
Mhm.
focus on. You adjust your overall to where you need to really go and closing those other
Mhm.
gaps. That's flexible. And that's everything in life as well. I was coaching AAA, and the one year our kids were so offensively gifted that our whole pyramid was how to create more offense off the rush because we had smart defense, smart forwards. And then we got our players moved to other teams. And then the next year, it was a different team.
Yes.
No one could carry the puck. No one could shoot the puck. No one could jump up in the play. So it's like we couldn't carry that same plan to the next year. We almost had to throw that away and create a new plan, being flexible. So, yeah, there's always that evaluation. And it's like, where are we going? Where are the gaps? What do we need to do for the next month? I think you do a monthly plan. You can have your overall plan. It's nice. And it's good to get it down on paper. You communicate that to the parents. This is our overall plan. Then you communicate your monthly plan as you keep going. We've evaluated the team. We realize that our gaps are we need more skating skills, puck skills, and we're going to work on the team skill, which is really important. Everyone has their own perspective. That's the tough part. One parent feels offense is more important, another parent feels goaltending is more important, passing is more important, or whatever. And you just got to be that leader and you just step forward with that, being
Mhm.
flexible, closing the gap on the little things. If the kids are more comfortable, better positioning in their D zone, knowing where to
Mhm.
be, the offensive, you just let it happen. Sometimes I just go get the puck, go to the net. Keep it really
Hmm.
simple. Maybe develop one plan for the offense. Because if the offensive zone, you screw up, you're still 200 feet away from where it really matters. Going in your own,
That's right.
you know what I mean? Just get your butt back, right? Get your butt back. So yeah, being flexible and have an overall plan, which is fine, but don't be so detailed about that overall plan. Just keep it simple. Then all of a sudden, you're going to see your team evaluate your individual skills. Have some little scrimmages during your practices. See who what the hockey IQ is too. Is everyone sitting and watching? What do I do?
Yeah.
Or you can actually see some players thinking, give and goes, passing, some decent position. We got some smart players. Maybe we do this moving forward with our overall plan into small monthly
Hmm.
plans. Because really, how many practices you have in a month, Susan? Just top of your head.
Between 4 and 8.
Yeah, between 4 and 8. So it's not really a whole bunch of time. When you bring in your goalie instructor, you really want to even tell him what to
Mm.
do. And you'd be like, I want you to evaluate our goalie. Go ahead, just do it. But just don't give it to them. This is what we noticed in our last game. Our goalie went down and could not get back up.
Okay.
You know what
Yep.
that is.
Yep.
Strength, right? Or laziness, either one of the two. Our goalie was making these great saves, but the rebounds were going 10 feet out. So their strategy on how to not give out the rebound so far, they do this little
Yeah.
move. The goalie had a hard time tracking the puck. It just helps that goalie instructor to get on the ice and start working. They'll have their own evaluation, which is great, but just one or two little things for the goalie instructor, and they're like, okay, thank you, I appreciate that. And they'll incorporate that into,
Yep. This makes sense. This makes sense.
they all know what to do.
They just need little hints, little clues, and then go to it. You know more about this than I do, but I know enough when I see, oh, that's not right. That's something to work on. I don't necessarily know how to fix it, but as, oh, that's a gap. That's a gap. Let's
Yep,
fix that.
that's
Yeah.
all. So when you're doing your game, you have a little notepad.
Yeah.
Just write down your
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah.
That's all.
I didn't use a notepad last year. I could remember, oh, yeah, that's a thing. But this year, I'm going to start using a notepad. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to goals and assists. I know this is obvious, but I didn't pay any attention at all last year to goals and assists. I was like, okay, we got the puck in. I was watching the play as opposed to who finally sealed the deal. Who actually put in the puck in the net was less important to me than if someone was in the right place.
Mhm.
Or that they were skating hard, or this player is always skating too slow. That's the kind of stuff I was paying attention to. This year, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to some of those numbers, but also who was on the ice, what shift, what
Mhm.
line was on the ice when something happened.
Mhm. Mhm. Analytics, that's what you're
Mm.
talking about, Susan. Analytics are important. The other thing, and I'm not gonna tell you nothing you don't know, is how do we make the kids who don't touch the puck, don't get the goals, don't get the assists, feel part of the team? Those are the tricky ones. But like you said, you could have a boy that just works really hard, but whether can't shoot, can't score, can't pass, but is on the puck all the time. Maybe that's the player you put on for your PK, penalty killing. They will track and hunt
Mhm.
and all that, or maybe put on against their top
Mhm.
line. We want you to start their top
Mhm.
player if you're going to match line. Hard to do in house league. I get that. I understand. It's about making everyone feel part of the
Mhm.
team because that's when you create that team. That's the
Yeah.
coach,
Yeah.
right? Skills guys is out there trying to work with everyone on their
Yes.
skills, trying to one individually
Yeah.
somehow, where the coach is trying all the individuals together feeling good. How do you do that heart thing? That, yeah, well, there it is, something like this, feeling good about themselves,
So
right?
I would say I didn't have any trouble with the number of kids that I had last year, knowing each kid and knowing what they were good at. I was
Sure.
less plugged into what motivates each kid. That's something I want to get better at this year. Like
Mhm.
their why. What's your why?
I think that's wonderful because everyone is motivated
Mhm.
differently. It's on Darcy's hockey team. Some are motivated by scoring
Mhm.
goals. Others are motivated by stopping the play. Others are motivated by being a team member and let's party afterward. There's a lot of good things. For me, I like being the offensive guy. I like being, for me, feeling part of the team was contributing offensively and always being asked to be on the ice and helping the team that way.
Of the 17 kids, 2 like playing D, everyone else likes playing forward. My approach is gonna be everybody plays everything. We're just gonna have
Mhm.
drills or skills that are useful for both forward and D. I'm gonna build up both kinds of those skills because I can't have 15 forwards. Somebody's gotta play D.
Right.
So my
Mhm.
goal is to have 2 good D on every D shift.
Mhm.
Because last year in house league, I would have 1 good D and then 1 guy who this is the best place we could put him. I think there's a certain experience you have. You talked about hinging, for example. When you have a real partner out on the ice, they work well together
Mhm.
and they understand the other person's role. I think that's really cool. That's teamwork. That's when you can have these click moments or these power moments that you go, oh, that was great.
Mhm. Mhm. You don't wanna try to hide the weakest skater on defense. Not a good spot.
We we
Not a
hid
good
them
spot.
on the
So,
wing.
yeah, hide the wing until they develop their skills. And what are the advantages of learning every position? I played defense for 1 season, and I did not wanna play defense. I'm a center. That's where I naturally go. I learned so much from playing defense on how the forwards need to come back to support the
Mhm.
defense, so it's an easier break pass. And all these little things and how the defense can jump up into the play and support the offense and the forwards. It's so many little things, but I was fortunate because I was a very good
Mhm.
skater and do that. So, but I still didn't know how to play defense. My mind was very
Yes.
offensive. It's,
Yes.
oh my God, went
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
Very lucky that the defensive coach goes, you can do that offensive, but you can't do it every single
Yes.
time,
Yes.
David. You got to use your players. When you start giving going with players, you create more open ice in the middle for you to go. But if you just keep carrying it, the other team is going to distract you and they're going to be on you. And then you're not going to have the success that you're looking
Yeah.
for. And I was like, okay, all right. And you start trying these little ideas. Kids have their own ideas. You're
Mhm.
battling those ideas with your ideas and not trying to make them wrong, but just trying to make them expand of, hey, it can expand you as a player in this way. But how do you create more open ice? By carrying the puck or by pushing it to the side? That defense goes over there, the forechecker, and then you skate through the open ice. Make them think. So I think you're doing the right thing, shifting everyone around and do that evaluation. Maybe it's a 3-month thing. And then you're starting to write down tendencies. Who has better tendencies to play at certain
Mhm.
positions? My worst thing, this is a really funny story. I was coaching a 16-year-old AAA team in the summertime, and we're playing all these great teams. The guy who formulated the team, there's one tournament, 16 forwards. I was like, what are you doing to me? Like, I have to pick the defense now? So we get on the ice, and I said to everyone, I'm going to pay the top 4 guys money, whoever the fastest backward skater is. So this is during a game, the pre-warm up. We didn't skate around. I had everyone on the goal line, had the backward skate as fast as they could to center ice, and then forwards all the way back in. I picked the top 4 guys, and they won. They won. I paid them like $10
Yeah.
each. You guys won the gift. They're like, what'd we win? You're playing defense tonight and $10. Get back here. It was ocean. I got paid. I don't want to play defense. So the first game was fine, but the second game, trying to find defense was difficult because everyone knew what I was going to do. Anyways, we made it through. But yeah, I said to the parent, you have to give me defense. I can't do this. Now I got to talk to the parents and they want to know why you picked this son and that son. I just flipped it. I said, you go talk to the guy who organized the tournament. I need 4 on defense. I can't play 5 forwards every shift. But it just changed. Then I needed to change a little bit as a coach. I said, why don't we try 1 defense and 4 forwards? So we have 1 forward jump up in the play. I can't remember what our record was, but it just started to create a little bit 1 back and 4 forward. So it was different. It's the summer. Who cares?
Mhm.
Win, lose, draw, it didn't matter. It was one weekend. But that's what I recommend for you, Susan, is that over 3 months, you have your notes and you start evaluating. Certain players have tendencies will start being better in certain
Hmm.
positions, playing defense, left playing winger, playing center. The ones that can really skate and hunt the puck, not afraid, man, you're going to put at
Hmm.
center. Want the puck all the time. The ones that kind of still are really good on the boards, up and down, they like to watch the play and then jump up into the play, it can be
Hmm.
wingers. Then you have the people that like to keep everything in front of them. There's your
Hmm.
defense. There's your defense. So, yeah, it's in evaluating the team and talking to the team and saying our best team is when these players are playing these positions. It's
Yep.
interesting. That's the coaching skill part.
Thanks, Dave. This
Thank
is
you,
a
Sue.
really good chat today, like they always are.